So we're going to get started. I've got Bryant Powers here from CrossFit Oahu out in Oahu, Hawaii. And we are going to be talking about sort of forming the calendar for the year. And this, I have lots of questions about how this gets done, but I think of it as being really organized with what's going to be happening upcoming in the gym, allows you to keep the trainers interested and excited, focused even, keep the members looking forward to what's next. It's got to be big for retention. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Maybe if there was a time when you didn't plan things out as much as you do now, respective to how things are going. And but yeah, so welcome, Bryant. Really excited to pick your brain.
I'm excited to be here.
I want to start just kind of with a general question when we're talking calendar, just so everyone's kind of on the same page. What falls under this category? What is listed down on your calendar? All the different sort of categories, or however you want to think about it.
Yeah. When I think about like the calendar for the gym, I'm just thinking about all the dates and trying to get all the times that things need to get done. Like basically all the things that I've messed up in the past. Like, oh man, it's 2 days out and I didn't plan this, or I didn't put up the hours for this holiday, or things like that. It's less of like maybe like here's a 1 hour PT appointment on my Google Calendar type thing. So I try to get an
So maybe like holidays would be one, sort of like national holidays, local holidays, things that would either mean the gym might close would be a major one, right? So maybe not as many of those, or the gym might have limited hours if it's kind of a holiday that you want to be open, but you only want to have one class, or you're going to do something smaller. So that's those are some of the starting points.
Yeah.
And then what other stuff do you build around that?
Yeah, and a big overview, if I do the overview to go through there, basically sometime probably later this month. Usually I try to do it like 3 months out for the next year to be a little organized. I'll print out like the entire next year, and there's a couple different types of calendars, but if you go to timeanddate.com, you can print out like, you can click like your date and stuff and when the holidays are and things like that, the ones that you want. And I'll print that out for the entire year. And like you're saying, and a lot of stuff happens the same every year in the gyms. So I'll go through and do all the holidays and see when they do that. So highlight those. And then I have a spreadsheet like with all the dates already in it from last year. So I'll update that. We have the state holidays in Hawaii, and then going through the other stuff that we usually put in there. Friday the 13th. We had 2 of those this year, and there's one coming up in October. So we always do a holiday WOD for that. The gym birthday, ours is March 8th, I think. Usually I'll highlight weird stuff that we can do other WODs on, like summer, winter solstice. From knowing all the competitions out here in Hawaii, usually those are lined up around the same time. So have the open dates and the CrossFit games dates, those are already up on the website. So people could put those into their calendar to start planning for events and things like that. And then one of the bigger things I try to link into the social events is we'll do, how many did we do this year? Like 5 strength cycles. Let me pull it up here real quick. I'll put in like, so that's like kind of like the dates and events. So then for the programming part of the calendar, like a different part, we'll kind of always start the year with a benchmark week. And that's all the classic benchmarks. And we'll do like 2 options. So do like Cindy and Mary one day, or, and then we will copy that benchmark week 3-4 times over the year so that members can come back to that. And I
love that so much. That's like straight out of the programming lecture. The level.
It's so fun. I can pull it up. I made a poster. One of our coaches, actually, I can't take 100 credit. One of our coaches wrote like 80 or 90 hero and benchmark WODs on the whiteboard once. So then I took a photo. I got like a 6-pack, and then I made it in Photoshop. So we have a 4x8 like vinyl printout that looks like marker of all of them. And we call it a benchmark bash. So we always do that on a Saturday of benchmark week. So members can come in and pick any benchmark they want, because a lot of times, a lot of those benchmarks are so wacky that you can't put them in a normal class. But if you're a veteran, you can kind of peer pressure other people to do, broad jumping with a weight vest or whatever the heck that one is. There's like,
yeah. Okay, that's cool.
So put in the benchmark weeks, and then so we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We did 5 strength cycles this year, and I'll plan out the strength cycles. And like for an example of this one, this year we did after the benchmark week, we did a strength, like a strict strength body weight and Olympic lifting skills. And that kind of ended around St. Patrick's Day, which we did a partner week on the test out right there. Then we cruised through and we did the next strength cycle, and that ended at Murph. So we did a lot of Murph prep and a Murph lead up to that. So that one ended on Murph. We did the next strength cycle that ended around the CrossFit Games, which we did another partner week. And then we're on this strength cycle, which is ending like right around Halloween, which we have a big Halloween party. And then the end of the year is the one. So we'll plan out those strength cycles. They don't have to be like all programmed yet, but like when those start, and those are usually 8 or 9 weeks.
Okay.
And
do you guys do something for Chad? Do you include that one in? Because I was thinking like even some of these fundraiser, like I remember we used to always do something for Grace, for Barbells for Boobs. Yeah. Like these are all different things, and I think different gyms can personalize this. Like I think Chad is a great one for all gyms to do. It's obviously a push that CrossFit's a part of, but if it's not something that you're going to do, maybe there's another one that you have your gym trained for, that might be linked to, kind of giving back. Like maybe it's something local or, that's important to your gym because there was a member impacted by something. But I really think, do you guys do anything that's linked to sort of more like community outreach or fundraising or anything like that?
We have done Barbells for Boobs for years.
Yeah.
And then they stopped doing that. We did a little bit of help with the Maui fundraiser this year. But we don't have that big one that was Barbells for Boobs. We do a toy drive at the end of the year. But yeah, there hasn't been anything for us that has replaced that since COVID, actually, which is a good question. But yeah, I would say, yeah, as much as gyms can piggyback on things that are already going, like competitions, things that other people are planning, oh, it's huge. It saves you a lot of time.
So you start with the big anchors, the dates that are holidays. You go to like other big anchors that we know of, things like the Open, the Games, things like Murph that, most people do on Memorial Day. I guess you don't have to, but a lot of people, that's a main anchor that they can count on every year. I know a lot of gyms that go big for Halloween, and maybe there's now. And so then when you start to have those things, because you guys do like a Halloween workout thing.
Every holiday, I mean,
is a holiday
somebody
workout
for the games. I wouldn't do this, but every holiday we have ridiculous big workouts. Labor Day, it doesn't matter. 4th of July, they're all themed. I have little documents for each one. Like we've got a Halloween workout coming up. We have a Halloween party.
You're speaking my language. As I was a new trainer at Valley CrossFit, Rebecca Boyd and I used to always make sure we made a themed workout for whatever holiday it was. Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, but then we would go strange ones, like not strange, but like Labor Day. How do you have a themed workout for that? Oh, we got creative. One time they closed one of the major freeways in LA. So we made a theme around that. It was the biggest thing ever in like leading up in that area where everyone knew the 405's closing just for like a period of a couple days. So we made a big like road work themed workout. Like you can have a lot of fun with it when you know that there are certain things coming up that are on people's minds, so I think that's where you can start looking. And so what you said is you look 3 months ahead, or do you?
I have all these for the entire year.
You have everything for the whole year.
Yeah,
so what's 3 months out that you're doing?
That's just kind of checking and making sure that everything is still there. If new things pop up, and a lot of time coaches will have ideas like, hey, we want to do a beach day or something like that.
Yeah, you guys should do a few of those. You guys have been nice to speak. Well, so then when do you program for the year? If it's like, when do you sit down and do that?
So for the gym programming?
Well, any of it.
Oh, yeah. So like right now. So like, that would be the process that I would start at the end of this month. So printing out the calendar, looking and making sure the same dates. And I have all of the holidays from last year. So really when I move the spreadsheet over, it's just adjusting the dates.
So it's sort of early November, you start planning for 2024 now.
Yeah.
And you'll get the whole year done, all of the major significant points, but the programming as well, or does that take longer?
So we don't do the programming that far ahead because usually things change, but what we will do is the strength cycles and try to keep those locked in. And of course, probably every gym owner that loves to do their own programming knows it's a struggle to be up on everything, but we try to get those things ahead like at least a whole cycle ahead so that we can adjust things if we need to, update things, get the coaches updated and all that stuff.
Okay. So you try to get the whole year main anchors done before the start of the year. And then you do your, say like your workout of the days, not the strength cycles. Those get programmed about how many months out for each?
Usually so we're kind of finishing up this cycle here at the end of the month. So next week I'm going to finish up everything to the end of the year. And I have that all drafted out essentially right now. But then we do like an easier version we have 3 TVs, the easier version, we have a harder version. So then I'll go through and I'll do all the scaling on that. And then the arduous task of putting it all in beyond the whiteboard.
Into the database.
Yeah.
So about a month and a half ahead on your programming.
Yeah, I'll do the whole cycle ahead. Yeah, I'll do the whole cycle ahead generally.
Okay. And so who helps collaborate on any of this stuff? You said sometimes the coaches have input. We want to do a beach workout, or maybe someone, I was kind of talking about the things that are maybe linked to a fundraiser or a charitable event. Maybe something speaks to somebody, or who comes up with that? Is it members driven ever? Is it only coaches and yourself, or?
I mean, for all the holidays and holiday wads and stuff, I have all that. And then usually if anybody wants to help with the programming, I try to get them in there to help with the programming. I'm kind of a terrible manager, so I have to stay up on like getting everybody to get everything in at the right time. But I love to have the coaches help with the scaling because I think that's one of the best coaches ed you can do. So if I have all the RX wads, I can say, hey, how would you do the easier version of all these? Or how would you do the harder version? And talk to the coach.
That is a great skill to work with your coaches on. Make everyone do it. Because guess what? That's going to make it more organic in the moment when they have to adjust to someone. Because inevitably, I'm sure on a daily basis, you have your scaled version up on the board, up on the TV. There's further scaling that needs to happen inevitably, right?
Yeah.
So having your coaches practice that and not just go by, and because you might follow CAP or some other program and there's scaling already there. You need to have them go through that skill set of what would you guys do? Think about our gym. Think about your class. What would you do?
Because the scaling is just 3 points in a continuum of infinite scaling.
Yeah.
So even for people that are good, you should try to screw them over and make it even harder.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's no end to the up. And then on the downside, there's a lot of, I mean, down is a weird term, but like on the beginner side, there's so many other options. And I kind of like working with people to programming if I can, because that's what's relevant to the member in class, and versus me like, hey, here's a parallel bar clinic for the coaches, which is fun too. But if I can get people involved with the programming and helping scaling, then that actually is, like you're saying, that's what you're doing day to day.
Yeah.
And it's huge. Talking about the organic events that you're talking about. Yeah. Members like, hey, I've got this fundraiser or this event's coming up, or the coaches are like, hey, I want to do this run. Yeah, we'll just add it in there to whatever we're doing. I mean, for our big events throughout the year, I mean, we have like Murph, we go all out on that. We have the Halloween party, we go all out, and we try to have 2 or 3 like big social things, and then we have 2 or 3 like the open, the comp, like, so we do like fitness things and fun things. But yeah, anytime a member or coach wants to do something, I'm all about it.
You're all for it. Yeah. Your gym is really fun, and I love the social media posts. I think I reposted your Murph post. Did you have 9 different versions of Murph that you had icons for? At least 9. I thought there was a grid.
Yeah, we've put that together.
And that was your way of getting everyone to see that they could do this, monster of a workout, right?
Yeah, we have a little Murph builder thing, because over the years people have been like, I can't do it. It's like, I can pull it up, but it's like weight vest or no weight vest, scaled or partner, like solo or partner, scaled or not. And then on the scaled, you have all the pull-ups. So somebody could actually go through and just like fill out like exactly how they would do it. Because really it's about having fun and challenging yourself a little bit. It's not about doing an RX. Some people.
Do you know about like what your turnout is for Murph? Do you track that?
Probably, God, I could pull a photo. It's 100 plus something like.
That's awesome.
We have 2 classes. We always do 2 classes on holidays. So between the 2, probably 150 plus or something. I mean, we awesome. Pump it up to get everybody there.
No, you do. And so that's what I was going to say next. And I don't know that I'm not necessarily ready to skip away from talking about what goes on the calendar, but also just all of the work promoting stuff is what I'm going to want to get into as well. And I'm I'm seeing from Instagram, but I'm assuming there's also email and maybe even text reminders. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I want to get into the social more. I mean, I think all of it is social because that's what's fun about CrossFit is you get to see your friends. But let's talk about the non-working out portions. What do you guys do outside of, oh, there's a competition, oh, there's a run we're going to do, oh, there's Murph or the Open? What kind of things happen to get everybody together? You said like Halloween party. What other kinds of things, non-fitness related?
Yeah, obviously the Halloween party's coming up. That's our big one. So we're super stoked on that. We got the DJ, we got the food truck, professional for blacklight. This year's Neon Nightmare, so it's blacklight cannons. I was
Wait, a cannon of blacklight?
Yeah, that's what they call the light, a blacklight cannon. So I was like, I'm in.
Oh.
So we'll see that. And then beach wads are usually things like that we'll go out and do. And then usually throughout the year, the coaches will have different parties and things that they'll set up. If it's somebody's birthday party or coach's birthday party, we can always, and this is my suggestion for anybody who's a gym owner, I would, whatever class they go to the most, we'll switch out that class time with the birthday wad, because sometimes it's weird if you do like a birthday wad for like a bigger gym and it's like this person goes to the 6 a.m. class and like nobody in the evenings met them, even though they've been a member for 10 years.
Yeah.
Coaches can always switch.
So do you do birthday workouts for members?
If they bring it up, if there's if they talk too much, we can get it in.
I do that, but my gym is small. It's it's 5-person class, so I definitely do birthday themed workouts. But it could be tough when you have 300 members. You're never going to do a regular program.
Yeah, just take that class. I mean, again, if it's personal training, you would never program how you'd program for group classes. But like if you're putting a wad in there for fun, as long as the volume's not too heinous or anything. We do a lot of stuff that's kind of like once we layer on those calendars and events, I like to try to have some background stuff that people can do. We did this during before COVID, like 3 years before, and then right during COVID, it got shut down. I really want to bring it back. I measured all of there's 7 channels between the islands of Hawaii, and I measured how many meters that is. I think it's like 300,000 meters or something like that. And then I made a 4x8 printout we can put on the whiteboard that is all the islands. And then it's a little square for each 1,000 meters. So it's like 300 squares. You can put your name on there. And then as you're doing the wads, or if you stay a little bit after class, we call it the channel challenge. You can kind of like fill in that. And it's just
how far you've rode.
Yeah. Over like 3 months, we try to get people to do it, and you can do it with a partner. We did do different colors, but people don't stay up with like if you do like bike meters, because bike meters are obviously easier. So that's something that we'll try to put in the background. The one that we may do next, I have a bunch of these that we've done in the past that we always kind of vote on what we're going to do. Then we may do this one going into the end of the year. It's same thing. It's kind of like a board with the little numbers, but this is a mile of rope climb. And I forgot I stole this from, I don't know if it was CrossFit Advantage. I definitely stole this from somebody. And then you make the graphic, and then you got like 60 or 90 days. It's 300 at our gym. It's 352 rope climbs. And it's not a race. And what's cool is like, if you can do one rope climb, you can just, do a couple before and after class. We do have scaled. So, 3 or 4 of the modified is equal to 1 regular. Definitely not a race, but we had one member go out and like do the only reasonable thing, which was buy like gardening gloves at Lowe's and do like 80 rope climbs in a day to be the first.
Stop it.
Yeah.
80 in a day?
Yeah, like Ricardo. I know who it is. Because obviously he got the tennis elbow or whatever, so don't do that.
Yeah. No. No, I remember back we used to do a lot of like burpee challenges. I have a member right now for fun. She's in like a fitness it's like a book club but for fitness with her friends, and they're doing like a plank challenge. So she wants to do a plank day with the rest of the class. She's like, can we like hold a plank together at the end of class? I'm like, yeah, for sure. So like I know we used to do like burpee goes up every day.
Oh yeah, that one's terrible. If you miss a day.
Yeah, everybody gets
double,
shoulder pain, tendonitis, something. So
we have those background stuff, things like that. Some other non stuff, bar golf, which we're always afraid to bring back, but we.
What did you call it?
Bar golf.
Bar golf, like as in going to different bars.
All of the fun of it. People get like their blackmail on the coaches. Bar golf. One of our coaches, Mark, he's so good at this. He goes around to do the research. He goes to 9 different bars, and I don't really know golf that well, but he gets them to set up like a par, like a birdie and an eagle. So it's like a beer, a mixed drink, and their specialty drink. So when you go there, there's only 3 choices for the members. And yeah, we have like 40 or 50 people walking around in outfits, and we'll do it in different parts of town. So we've done it in Kakako, we've done it in Chinatown, and the scores never get kept by the end. But yeah,
but everyone has a good time.
Yeah, everybody has a good time. So bar golf is a thing that we've done. We've done a massive fish game tournament, which is the fish game on the rower. So you do like a bracket. And the cool thing about the fish game, 4 minutes long, there is skill if people practice, like if you lead up to it, but there's a lot of random chance involved. And because anybody can kind of win a fish game round, it's not about how fit you are, because it's the percentage that you move up and down, like speed wise. And at the end, we gave away like a gallon of Kraken rum. So that's a fun one.
That's really cute.
Yeah, we've got a bunch, and then
so when you're looking at your calendar, you're spreading these out, like, right? I mean, obviously the challenges, some of them last over a few months, but something like, going out and doing the bar golf, or, I know some gyms are like, we're going to go do a, axe throwing. We're going to go do a karaoke night, whatever. You're spacing these things out to kind of fill in the gaps. And that is keeping the social calendar going. You know how to keep them in the gym because of the workouts are varied, and you're bringing in interest, you're varying the strength cycles, they're seeing results. But sometimes they need those nudges to remember that this is their people, this is their family, and to keep doing these things together. So I don't know if you found, a cadence that works, like if we do something every month, people stop coming. If we do something, or every week, it's too much. If we do something every month, maybe it's just right. If we space it out a little more, we lose interest. I don't know if there's, and that's probably gym specific, but
yeah, I'll share my screen. And then, like I was saying to you earlier before this, I didn't really prepare this this is kind of the notes that I use, and then I put it in. Eventually, like, we did everything over and checked the calendar, but I'll kind of go through a couple different tools that I use here. Hopefully it helps. So this guy right here, I can zoom in more. And this is kind of weird. I mean, people don't have to like read this all the way, but like basically this is what at the beginning of the year, I'll fill in a lot of the dates of when the events are and stuff like that. And this is like the start and end dates of a lot of stuff, the theme weeks that we're talking about, when the open is. You can just like fill these in. It takes like a little bit of time if you don't have this, but like we know that there's always a 3-day weekend in Cajillo and all that stuff. Kind of where
it's pretty small, but what on the left side what are the colors representing?
Let me.
Oh, gym closed, I see, is in red.
I kind of do this, and I kind of have a different way of doing it, but this is just the older list that I have that's like easier to see like this.
Yeah.
And like we always do Super Bowl based on the teams, the double date WOD, which I can show you some of the WOD stuff that we have.
That's for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So we basically half the volume of a lot of hero WODs and
nice
benchmark WODs, and you can pick 2 dates or 1 date and go do that. But then we'll do the prep and things like that. So where this goes into here, let me see if I got all these tabs.
Did I just see April Fool's Day is 500 burpees?
Yeah. So the problem is, like, with that, we used to do that. Like, we just put something up there like that, but somebody will do it and then other people will try to do it, So, yeah, there's always that. And after I do the kind of the holiday, and this goes into, this might be an easier way. So all of those things I put in the spreadsheet automatically populates over here. So this is an easier way for me to look at it and print it out or whatever.
And I saw you guys do like a spirit week. I know a lot of gyms that do that. When do you put that, or do you a couple during the year, or how do you do spirit weeks?
So I'll show you how we space it out kind of around this. I'll try to zoom in here. So after I get the holidays and stuff, this is kind of like a rough outline of, we're doing this benchmark week here. We've got this Oli cycle. We do the spirit week here at the end. The low options. This can kind of strength cycle leads into Murph.
So it's almost like the
down
end of one
here.
of these cycles,
And
there's a thing. There's Murph or there's a spirit week, so which is not necessarily movement dependent. Like Murph isn't going to be very much dependent on the workout. But so they're almost anchored by those.
And what we'll do for Murph in this particular case, when we go deeper into like the regular programming, is like every Monday, because that's when Murph is, we'll do a different type of Murph prep.
Yeah, I saw you posting those leading up to it in the spring.
Yeah. Not just like here's 10 rounds of Cindy, here's 12 rounds of Cindy, different volumes and different things. And then Wednesday we'll have little add-ons. So people are kind of feeling like you always feel good going into it and then it just goes bad. But and this one ends at the CrossFit Games, which we do a partner week, the games week, and we'll do like spirit weeks and stuff.
Your partner week promos were so fun as well. Like you really sell that hard, right? On the different ways to do partner workouts. There's not just, you were kind of breaking that down. There's so many different ways to do them. So I like the way I don't remember, that might have also been little like
each day.
Grid.
If somebody was going to do a partner week, this would be my suggestion for what it's worth is it should be something that you don't normally do in the regular WOD. So it shouldn't just be like a regular WOD with a partner. You've got shared rep pool. You've got shared or alternating rounds. You've got alternating reps. You've got isometric holds. So like each day can be hyped as a specific type of partner WOD.
That's how I saw you promoting it. Like this is the day where there's going to be a hold while the other partner works versus this is the day where you have to be synchronized or something, right? Yeah.
Reps, alternating reps. So you can kind of do that. And it's not just like, okay, we're doing, Fran switching around. So you can kind of hype up each part of the partner week. So there's something to look forward to there. And then the end of the year, there's always like smaller cycles. We'll do like just this like random little stuff at the end. Because people kind of start to go on vacation. If we don't finish a strength cycle, I'd say before this 51st week or whatever, people kind of get butthurt because then they go on vacation and they wait to come back and things like that.
Okay.
This calendar kind of links with what you're talking about. If I kind of just rough it out this way, is you can kind of see, and I'll zoom in. And there's tons of ways for people to do this. I kind of do it differently every time, but I have all the weeks of the years right here in the months.
So okay.
Kind of see like what we're doing here with the benchmark weeks are spread out. All of these weeks, the partner weeks are spread out here. And that's like kind of what you're saying. We have this bigger event leading up here, this bigger event here. In the middle, we actually had, we ended up doing this really cool event that I don't know if somebody made it up here on Island, Kimo Kakelman, and he's so good.
Yeah.
It was a team of 4, but like one member had to be 35 or below. One had to be 35 to like 45. One had to be like 45 to 55. One had to be 55 plus.
Oh man.
Dude, we had so many teams and it was amazing. So that was what we put in this area and pumped it up.
And that was like an event he threw at his gym.
Mm-hmm. And we just kind of got everybody in behind that. So this is where we're planning that mile rope climb. So you can kind of see if you just kind of put it something like this, there's always something going on. And I just saw somebody do this 24 hours of sled push, and the sled had to keep moving for 24 hours. I was like, I wonder if that's possible. So
how many people are pushing the sled?
I don't know. I just saw it on Instagram and I was like, it was like a fundraiser and I was like, that's kind of a cool event idea.
I do know some gyms that have done like we at Valley CrossFit, we really wanted to do like a 24-hour workout thing where there was something on the hour every hour. And we all just stayed at the gym. We didn't end up doing it, but we had a big talk about that.
Dude, I've to do that for so long.
Right.
I have all holiday WODs here after we go in.
Earth Day. Yeah. Love it.
This is the Hawaiian state fish right here. Huma huma nuku nuku.
Yes, you sent me that one. The longest word I've ever seen written out.
So if I'm on here, I'll just go to the Halloween one that we got coming up. I'll just have notes for what we did. Like we usually do some sort of 31-minute AMRAP for 31st day, and we'll kind of make fun little things. But then at the end of each AMRAP, you get to pick a trick or a treat. So tricks are all weird gymnastic stuff you have to do. Treats are candy, and you have to eat +1 candy each round if you keep picking it. So,
oh my gosh.
That's usually how we do it. And I'll take pictures of the board art so I don't have to remember.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
Who does the board? Who does the board art? Do you have a resident artist? Is that you?
It cycles. I'll try my best. I could probably work at Starbucks. I have that level of quality, but um, yeah. So I've got this kind of for each holiday.
Okay.
And then there's two more like layers, I would say, to the calendar. Depending on how technical somebody wants to get, is you can kind of plan out a lot of the Instagram posts ahead of time. Because if it's
so let's dig into that, because I think this is where it misses. You might have all the best intentions of a crazy organized calendar like Bryant, but if you don't get the word out, no one's going to be there.
There's an Instagram level and there's an admin level to the calendar. And the admin level, I would say, like every week I have who I work with, like Malachi and Sam. They help with like the operations at the gym. And we have a checklist of things. So we'll try to check what the upcoming events are in reference back to the calendar. Because I've made the calendar and not used it and been like, oh my God, I got to put this on the whiteboard, benchmark weeks next week or whatever. But if you're meeting and you're looking like a month ahead, you can actually use the calendar and update it. So there should be some sort of admin level where you're looking at it every month. You're putting out info to the coaches. At the beginning of the month, you're updating the whiteboard. But a lot of this stuff, like if I know what the benchmark week's going to be for that year, I'll try to get everything together for like, this is January news and events. So if we send this out to the members, here's everything that would be happening this last year here.
This would be like an email about January.
You can put out an email at the beginning of month. We generally only text the members for like sign up for the Halloween party and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So here's like the New Year's Day WOD. And I can zoom in if you're New Year's Day WOD. I'll put some stuff for like the benchmark week. Like this is the options we had for those days. But yeah, like you can go. I mean, I've been doing it for a while, so like a lot of this stuff, like if I know what the benchmark week is, or the theme weeks, I'll put that in there. Where's the other stuff? Earth Day. So over time, Synchro de Mayo partner WOD. If anybody wants
Love
to
it.
take that. We have a lot of the Murph stuff when the dates are going to be. So this is what would be happening in June. We have this right here. So a lot of this you can kind of go through and update. And like I said, it's kind of boring, but if you spend like a day or two, you can get like most of it. And then when it comes up, you have a lot of it, and you of course need to update stuff.
Well, what I'm thinking is like, it's a lot like maybe if anyone's ever like been a teacher before, like once you got it written out for the year and you've done it, now you're just every year you just kind of rinse and repeat. Like there's a tiny bit of refresh, or you might mix in something new, but once you've got your lesson plans and things like that, like you're just kind of cycling it over again. So I know it looks like an intensive amount of work. Obviously, you guys are a 17-year-old affiliate. You've been doing this a long time. I'm sure this has evolved through the years, and wherever someone's at now, I think just what do they need more of? Like maybe they need better details leading up to these events so that people are in their gym are aware of it. Maybe they need to be adding some more things, right? Maybe they've been so focused on the workouts, they don't have any of these kind of anchor points.
Yeah.
Whether it be holidays or events that are around in the area, or an event that you're going to put on yourself.
We get a lot of visiting. I don't know, is my video stuck?
Yeah.
Oh my God, so awkward. I
feel bad because I think it's recording it that way. But
yeah, no, that's awesome. Let's see if I could fix it.
Is it stuck on your end? Or you could try turning off your camera and turn it back on. That might help.
No, that's like the most flattering photo of me.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh well, it didn't fall on.
But the volume's there, which is good, because I was gonna say we get a lot of visiting owners and stuff like that. Oh yeah, it's overloading here.
Do they comment on that or?
Yep. And just like the stuff, and I always tell people, like if they're newer gym, it'd be like if you looked at like a CrossFit Games athletes workouts. You don't need to copy all that. You just got to be consistent.
Might have lost you. Oh, he's back.
It's that good. Bam.
Perfect.
Let me see if the camera gets started. Bam.
Yay.
So I was saying, yeah, a lot of times if newer affiliates, because we get so many drop-ins, I always tell them like, start small, don't get overwhelmed. And like if you looked at like a CrossFit Games athletes workouts, or like an Olympic lifting champions, Olympic lifting, you can look up those workouts. You don't have to do all that. You build up to it.
Yeah.
I think probably where most people make a mistake is they don't write down like what they did, so they have to think about it next year. So
yeah, that's what I love about all what you just showed.
So yeah, as you're going, just write it down somewhere, and then each time there's like a mistake or something, you just iterate it and kind of, oh, I'm going to be a little more organized with this, or I'll try to plan ahead. And if you kind of keep track of what you're doing, ultimately you can get an organized system that works for you, because it's not about copying. That's a good thing about affiliate, right? Like it's not about copying exactly what somebody else does.
No, this was, and again, this was, I think, just to highlight one approach and maybe show some things that some people aren't already doing. And it doesn't even have to be on the specific, just like what are you writing out, if anything, and what's another layer you could. And I don't know if I always thought of it in terms of the holidays and the other events I might want to do with people and layering the programming to match. And yet it makes a lot of sense. If I'm going to anchor with this holiday workout, whether or not it's got, something like Murph, where it's a high volume and we should kind of train for it like a Chad as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's more of like, I'm going to do a Halloween theme workout, it's going to be fun. But you can think about like what is going to be happening before and after that in your workouts, in your programming. I think having the cycles so that people know what's happening, they're not random. It's not like, well, I think we're going to start a strength cycle now. And everyone's like, well, what is that? You guys have things going throughout the year. And so your members, that's normal for them. Benchmarks are a normal thing for them to be seeing. And that cadence that you have them on is allowing you guys to track results and make sure that what you're putting out is getting where you want them to go. So I really like that. The data behind
People
it.
love the bench, because like we'll say something like, well, you did this 17 weeks ago. They're like,
but that's old school CrossFit. You go on CrossFit.com, you'd
mm-hmm.
see the date that it was last posted, and you'd be like, I'm going to go back in my book. Mine was a piece of paper. I'd flip back to it, see what I did, and try to improve on it. Right.
Exactly. And it's just a fun thing. And you tell new people, hey, we're going to do this again in the future.
Yeah. So everyone's ready for that. Do you also mix in any type of like clinics on specific movements? Like it could be as broad as it's a gymnastics clinic or as narrow as it's a bar muscle up clinic. Do you guys do stuff like that run by the coaches?
We used to do a lot more. Like I think about, like, I could give you a critique of this system too. Like I'm always critiquing myself. I used to be much more like, I used to own 5 gyms at the same time. And this is kind of what led to this love. Like I said, it wouldn't look like it, but I'm terrible with calendars and like late and stuff. So I go over the top on like building stuff that really helps me on my weak spots. But I used to be pretty particular about like every month we're going to try to do this or try to do a clinic. And not only like do a clinic, but let's say we're going to do a handstand clinic.
Yeah.
Or even like a muscle up one. You want to delineate it so that this is my first handstand or this is handstand walking. Because it's something you do like just like a handstand clinic. There's people that are nervous to kick up and there's people that want to go up and down the ramp. So we try to split that. And same thing with muscle up clinics. Like this is my first muscle up versus linking muscle ups or doing muscle ups when you're tired or.
So are they different clinics or you just have to separate?
Different clinics, but you'll have like one an hour before the other one.
Okay. I love that. My first handstand could be the name of the clinic, right? Essentially.
Oh, yeah, because that's what people want. You just
yeah.
And same thing with beginner Olympic lifting or maybe like more advanced Olympic lifting, where a lot of people in the class, they don't use the jerk blocks. They don't do the stuff that we have for the lifting team. I haven't been as good at that since after COVID. So there's a lot of room for us to improve in that area on our end. So before COVID, it used to be every month we would try to throw something in there and promote that, but I've been real strict on that.
So when you do those, do you charge your members for those clinics when you guys did those?
I've done both ways. Generally, I don't charge it and I pay the coach now. I think if somebody wants to invite somebody from outside, you could charge them.
Yeah.
But again, I'm pretty bad at pricing, I would say. So you could probably charge for it.
I know some gyms that's their way of bringing in a little bit extra income, and it's also good for like you said, it's good for the coaches. So I wasn't sure if that was an add-on or if that was something just more to get in, I guess, better engagement from the members, right? Get them more interested in reaching their goals. Their retention takes care of itself, right?
Yeah.
If they're interested in coming in and they get their first handstand, and then they see the people that come for the next hour clinic, and what are they doing? Well, they're doing handstand walking. They're doing a handstand push-up on parallel. It's like, you're like, now they start to get stars in their eyes of like, oh wow, maybe, just maybe I could get to that. And so
And
it's kind of like you're just constantly putting out new carrots for them, right?
and if I was doing this perfectly, which I've done sometimes, and I always get boggled with landlords or whatever, something, the clinics would match the strength cycle. And I think that's when you have, so let's say you're doing a barbell with a primary deadlift, strength and handstand push-up skills, like we're doing this cycle, you would want to start off the cycle with deadlift clinics, stuff like that, and
Yeah.
handstand stuff. And then throughout the cycle, you could do parallettes, you can do stuff like that. So if I was planning it correctly at the beginning, I would find the coaches to do those or schedule those myself, and then get those promoted. And the clinics match the strength cycle, and it's all cohesive.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing about the calendar that I try to do is everything layers on itself. It's all part of one bigger flow with people's
Yeah,
lives.
you can see that. I know you're being critical of what you can do better. I think that's awesome, but I do think you can tell it's very much this well-oiled machine from what I can tell, what it looks like. And I'm always watching your social media and what you guys are putting out. And to me, it's apparent that there's always something in the pipeline, right? And I think that is when an affiliate owner is sort of still working in the business and trying to just get through each class that they're having to coach and cleaning up after. And doesn't feel like there's a lot of time to look so far ahead and have things coming down the pipe. So I know that for some people I might be putting a lot on their plate to think like this, but I want this out there, the knowledge out there. So for some affiliate owners, this is going to line up with what they're doing, or they're going to get some new ideas. For others, maybe this is the next step they can take. And then
I still
others might be
a lot.
away.
Like I used to feel like that with a lot of stuff, but if you can get somebody to coach one evening for you, or whenever you normally, because when you are starting, I used to teach all the class. I mean, this was way back when I used to teach all the classes and stuff. But if you are coaching a lot, if you can get somebody, even if it's not the perfect person, to do like a guest coaching night,
yeah,
you a guest coaching morning, and you take the whole day to do the workout when you want to, get everything ready the day before, all of your like notes and stuff the day before, and then go to the coffee shop, and your only goal that day is to get the next 3 months scheduled out or something. You can't do it 5 minutes at a time or at a front desk at the gym, because you're always going to want to talk to people, or they're going to talk to you, or they're going to want to buy a t-shirt or whatever. So
yeah,
you got to have a really good strategy of getting away and working on it. And then once you get
that's great advice. Yeah, it's funny. You got to do a lot of work for the gym outside of the gym, right? Otherwise, you're never going to get past what's right in front of you. There's always going to be the next thing.
Coaching and interacting with members is way more fun than half of like the admin stuff for running a successful gym. And that's probably why a lot of people don't have as successful gym as they want, like following up with leads or setting calendars or all this, whatever. That's a totally different skill. And it's a skill that a lot of people don't take the time to specifically develop. And that's what holds back the gym. Like people are always asking like, oh, are we open this weekend or not? So.
Well, I really appreciate all of your info. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to share. I thought this was, covered all the bases that I had, all the questions that I had. I'm sure if people have more questions, they can definitely write them in the comments when I post this. If you guys haven't already checked it out, Bryant's gym is CrossFit Oahu. Their Instagram handle is CrossFit Oahu Family. And I know you don't necessarily post that one. You have someone that posts for you there. But
yeah,
if you want an idea of kind of like how they're promoting what's coming, go ahead over there and take a look, and you can kind of see some of the stuff we're talking about. Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to add in?
The only other layer I had on here that we didn't go over, but it links with the cycles if we were doing it correctly, is before the cycle starts, having a staff meeting that goes over what's in the actual programming. And that's
huge.
The last layer of the calendar. So the coaches are empowered to know, oh, this is what's coming up and this is where the coach's notes are. And if they can see, because I've done it both ways where you get too much information and then nobody asks questions. You're like, why did I even do this? But it's actually helpful. And I've done too little information. People are like, why are we doing this? What are we doing? So if you can get out as much of the programming and then go over, because we have a lot of stuff in our strength and skill cycles that we try to add, like movements you don't normally see in the WODs. So if you can do those with the coaches ahead of time, it's so much better than them pulling up the class, looking at the thing 10 minutes before and trying to figure out what a shoot through is. So
yes, that's a good point. Okay. So is that kind of a hands-on meeting where you're almost demonstrating or showing a video sometimes?
Yeah. And now that I have one gym, I kind of just do a couple meetings with the coaches. If I see them, I'll kind of do it impromptu and run it. But if you have a lot of staff, you can definitely get everybody together, get some food, go over any numbers and stuff you have for that. I mean, running a staff meeting is its own thing, but the weeks will be focused on.
Awesome.
But yeah,
that was great. I don't know if it was just on my end or if it recorded, but you did like a back and forth on when it glitched just a second ago, but we got your full sentence. So maybe it didn't work that way. Perfect. And I just heard it that way. But anyway, the staff meeting, that's a really good, important piece about a lot of this, especially if you're doing any of these things for the first time. They're going to feel like big changes that the coaches are ultimately going to be the ones that have to roll out. Right. And so just making sure they're on board, they're in the loop, they know what announcements are happening, they know what you're putting out on social media, and where their part in it is, right? If they're going to be coaching some of these specialty workouts, the holiday ones, things like that, make sure that they understand the level of fun versus the level of, what if it's Hero WOD that we're honoring someone versus, this is, how what kind of attendance to expect, all things like that. Make sure you're communicating that.
Yeah, you got to get the buy-in. You should literally ask who's going to Murph. Nothing is more
your coaches.
Yeah. Well, who's going to not that you have to go, but if people are, if they're on island or whatever here and you can go, that's awesome, because then, you can kind of get them excited to go to the event. They get the members excited.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool. Well, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for showing us how to manage our time throughout the year with our affiliates. And I'm sure we'll be having you back on again to pick your brain about something else. So thanks so much.
Yeah, stoked.